On the west side of Port Arthur, Texas, between his people and the plants that feed a country's ferocious appetite for fuel.
We're paying for it with our health.
You will often find a lone defender patrolling the fence line.
And some of us have paid for it with our lives.
His name is Hilton Kelly, and over the past 11 years, he's become very, very good at holding accountable those who've showered his crumbling community with pollution.
It was a time to where nobody wanted to hear what we had to say.
An Eagle Scout, Navy veteran, and former Hollywood stuntman, Kelly was born and reared within Carver Terrace, a public housing project neighbored then as now by seemingly ever-present plumes and rank odors.
Because it smelled like rotten eggs. But my mother would always say, oh, y'all quit that plan because that's money you smell.
Other people's money. Military service offered Hilton a ticket out of Port Arthur, and a couple decades in California delivered a deeper understanding of the environmental abuse he witnessed growing up and on regular visits back home.
I was sick and tired of watching it just fall apart. I was sick and tired of watching my folks here being dumped on, and I decided to fight for it.
Kelly began by urging West Side folks to embrace and demand a fundamental freedom.
You have a right to clean air. You have a right to clean water. You have a right to land that you can farm and plant in.
He and his growing band of supporters continued with an assault on complacency.
Many of them thought that, these industries would look out for them automatically, that EPA was there to protect them automatically, that the Texas Commission on Environmental Quality was there to protect them automatically. Well, nothing could be further from the truth.
Along the way, Kelly and crew collected a near constant flow of air samples, evidence that's turned suspicion of toxic contamination into scientifically confirmed fact.
As those chemicals go into your body, it's destroying cells, it's destroying your lungs, it's getting into your blood.
Leadership at the grassroots that's led to a remarkable degree of leverage and an astonishing list of results. A giant project with potential to spew cancer-causing emissions was scrapped. A French company's plan to incinerate imported toxic waste was also soundly rejected. And a massive expansion of Dutch and Saudi-owned Motiva was modified to exclude antiquated equipment and include the best possible safety and pollution controls.
We know for a fact we've minimized explosions and fires at that plant, ultimately saving lives. And we have definitely saved the lives of many residents who would have been exposed to those emissions that would have been released illegally.
Kelly's latest crusade involves installation of an emergency audio alert system, the equivalent of a warning siren, to instantly notify residents of potentially dangerous explosions or emissions. The safeguard is standard in other cities, but has never been deemed necessary for Port Arthur.
What you're going to end up with ultimately is a lot of folks dying here out in the streets, and then they'll do something about it.
Undoing decades of blight and economic degradation on the west side is another dream.
I'm pushing to try to rebuild stuff. We're going to try to revitalize the area.
Under pressure from Kelly and the community, Motiva came across with $3.5 million in Good Neighbor seed money. For the 3,000 citizens still here, clearly a great deal more is needed.
Most of the people in this community cannot afford to move. Many people in this community are living at or below the poverty line.
And as long as they remain, so will Hilton Kelly, a solitary man who beat the longest of odds by insisting on making a difference. In Port Arthur, Greg Grugan, Fox 26 News.